your setup. So I have a clear space here, right? Like this is my clear space. I don't have anything there. And I am right-handed. So when I go to set up, what I am gonna do is on my right, I'm gonna put down my paper towel, okay? So I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna put down a paper towel. And then I'm gonna put my palette to the right of me also. And my brushes and my water. They are all gonna go on my right, right? And you guys can't see it, but my water is over here on my right also. Okay, so everything I need is on the right of me, okay? If I were left-handed, I would put it all on the left of me, but I'm right-handed, so I'm putting it on the right. Everything else is out of my way. I have nothing else in my way at all. And then I'm gonna get the surface in which I'm painting in. So I'm gonna paint in my journal today. So I've got everything I need right here. Yeah. You didn't bring brushes? A couple of things that I want you to think about and you need to know about with watercolor. One, it's watercolor, so it's water-based. Everything else is the pigment, the binders, but it's mostly water. So when you get your little guy right here, this little guy, he's your palette, right? In here, I don't know if you guys have opened these up or not, so, right? In here, I've gone in and I've added the pigment to it. So this comes in a little squeeze tube, okay? And this little squeeze tube, they're not very big. They're about this big, all right? And each one costs about $4 for a little teeny tiny squeeze tube. But they last a really long time. So in here is the pigment. And if you have some of this oil, you see that oily stuff that's lingering around there? That's actually called gum arabic. So you have the pigment-based stuff that is the colorant, and the gum arabic is the stuff in there that helps bind this watercolor paint together, okay? It holds it together. So this you can't paint with it yet, right? It's just straight up paint. You don't use it like that because then it would be using it like acrylic. And watercolor is not acrylic. They are very, very different paints, okay? So you don't want to use this straight out of this tube. So instead, what you're gonna do is you're gonna get, and right now we're gonna all pick one color and we're gonna do this together with one color, okay? We're gonna get water instead and put in here. Now, over the years, I've gotten smarter and smarter. Then you just get your water and your brush and you drop a little bit in at a time, okay? Do not pour it in there because you can get too much water. So I'm gonna start with a little bit first. You guys can see, it's not even halfway full, all right? So it's just got some water in there. And I'm gonna stir this up first, okay? I've now turned it into being watercolor because I added water, right? Before you ever paint with any of your watercolors, you're gonna test swatch them, always, okay? All right, so what I'm doing right now is I'm making sure none of that pigment is stuck in my brush because that would give me a false test, okay? So I'm just stirring, scraping it off on the side, making sure there's no pigment stuck, right? And then I'm gonna use this to do a test swatch, okay? So this is I'm gonna dedicate this page as test swatch page. Whoa, that is dark, okay? Believe it or not, you guys might think I'm crazy, but believe it or not, That is dark for watercolor, okay? What we are going for is this range, all right? This is the range we're going for in transparent watercolor, because you see this beauty right here, what's happening when this layer over this layer, you get a darker value. So you build watercolor, you build value in watercolor versus going straight out, okay? Because it's not oil and it's not acrylic. You build your values instead. So I tested it. I'm gonna add a little bit more water, just a little bit. And then I'm gonna retest. If you add too much water, you're screwed because you don't have more pigment at home, right? So instead, just add a little bit of water. Hey, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? I like it like that. I'm gonna stick it there, okay? I'm done with that color. This is what you do for every single one of your colors, okay? So all of these. So today, let's just mix our colors real quick, all right? Let's go through and mix our colors and do test swatches of all of them. And you all have the exact same colors. You have a Viridian green, a sap green. You have two different blues. One is an ultramarine blue, and I believe, I can't remember the name of the other blue. Cobalt, maybe? I'll test it and see. Then you have a brilliant red and a crimson red, okay? And then you've got yellows. You have two yellows. So you should have a warm and a cool of every single one of the basic colors. Okay. Almost? Okay, cool. All right, guys. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go through these little exercises, okay? So these two at the very top are called flat washes. So a flat wash is something that we do in order to get a flat area of coverage in watercolor and try to kind of mimic what you would use maybe when filling in an object or a full area. And that's kind of the purpose of it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna draw a line right in the middle of my page, or middle-ish, right? That's middle-ish, right? I'm not measuring it. And I'm gonna try to do a flat wash up here and a flat wash down here, okay? So I'm gonna pick, for this flat wash, I'm gonna get the biggest brush I have, all right? So I've got a big flat brush right here. This is my biggest brush that I have, and I'm gonna get one of my colors, whichever color that I want, and I'm gonna try to go, and watch how I'm gonna do this first. So I'm gonna dip in, and I'm gonna go swoop, 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 swoop. If I need more, I'm gonna dip back in, swoop, 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 okay? So that's what that's my goal. So I'm gonna get some water on my brush first, okay? I'm gonna dip it into my color. Dip it into my color, okay? And I'm gonna go swoop, swoop. I'm gonna pick up some of that. Swoop, swoop, swoop. Oh, I'm running out. I need to jump back in. Swoop, 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 swoop. I'm gonna pull this across. I ran out of paint. I need to get back more. Swoop, 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 swoop. I'm gonna go back and pull that pool across. And I'm gonna go down to the line, okay? My goal is to get an even area of color, all right? And once I have done that, I'm gonna go back and do another one. And my goal is to get better each time, okay? Whoop, I need more color. What?
Is that your dark green?
This is my Viridian, but you can use any color you want. You don't have to use the same color as me.
No, I think my paint's just way too thick.
You turn your camera on and let me see it. Lee, are you good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Reese, I'm gonna just start showing the next step, okay?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna get, I'm gonna flip the page, okay? These should dry pretty fast because this is, you know, it's decent paper. Your sketchbooks are pretty nice. It's a multimedia paper. So these should dry pretty fast, okay? So we're gonna flip the page and we're gonna draw another line right in the middle. And we're gonna do what is called a graduated wash. So a graduated wash is this little bad boy right here. It's very hard for you to see in this image, but it goes from dark to light. So yeah, it's very hard for you to see in this image. And the theory behind a graduated wash is that it gradually gets lighter as it goes, right? And the important thing for this in the graduated wash is that you could do backgrounds, right? You could do, if you're looking at a sky that's darker at the top and it gets lighter. And then also you can do things that have value scales on them. So if you're, you know, trying to paint an apple and the apple goes from dark to light or light to dark, that's what a graduated scale is all about, is learning, you know, being able to get that full range of value in there on these realistic things. And then also like the sky and stuff, okay? So I'm gonna pick a color, a different color this time because I might wanna use my greens later for my peppers. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a blue, I believe. And I'm gonna talk you through it first and then I'm gonna do it, okay? So I'm gonna dip in the paint. First, I like to get a little bit of water on my brush, but I'm gonna dip in the paint and then I'm gonna go brush, 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 dip in water, brush, 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 okay? So instead of going and getting your second dip of paint, you're gonna dip in the water instead. And every once in a while, you have to kind of go back up and then transition it back down, okay? So let's try it and see how it goes, all right? So here is my paint over here. My people in my room who can't see me because I got that up there. All right, so I already dipped in the water a little bit and I scrape it against the, let's see if I can lower that. I scrape it against the side of the cup to get the excess water out, all right? And then I go in and I'm gonna dip in, scrape across to get the excess out there. Brush, brush, brush. I'm gonna come back up to this big pool right here and I'm gonna pull it across. All right, and I'm gonna go back and forth. Oh, I'm getting dry, so I need a little bit of water to pull it down. And then I'm gonna get some more water to pull it further down. Okay, so the goal right here, if I need to get a little bit of water right here and blend this a little bit better, I can. But the goal is to go from dark to light, all right? So that it looks like a sky or something that you're trying to paint that needs to go from dark to light, okay? All right, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna pull this across a little bit. Oh, I need water. Pull that down. Oh, I need water again. Pull that down. All right, guys. So I've got a graduated wash. I go from dark to light. All right. Sometimes you gotta roll a little bit fast when you're doing a graduated wash or an even wash, because if this starts drying too fast before you get to here, you're not going to be able to blend it back out. So you got to you got to do it with a little bit of expedience, like brush, 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 dip, brush, 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 brush. All right? That's kind of the speed you got to do it at.